Hey everybody, I just wanted to take a quick second and let you know that my album W Part 2 comes out tomorrow. It's being published by Vivid Kind and it was produced at GARDNSOUND Studios. If you want to pick up a copy of that, it'll be available tomorrow. Thanks very much. I've got a new light. It's supposed to make the face look better on these shots, but I still haven't figured out how to get the light out of the shot. I'll figure it out. I'm gonna get some black tape and put it around the edges here. That was the sound of Johan scooting his luggage across the floor. It is really early in the morning. I'm about to drop off Johan at the airport and then get to work. Tuesday. Yesterday was Labor Day. So today kind of seems like a Monday. I haven't had any coffee yet. I'm not awake if you can't tell. Just dropped my friend Johan off at the airport. I'm not going to use the ring light because it's just too bright for me this early in the morning. Subject of today's video: how to solo. Brought to you by my buddy Drew. Drew, how's it going, man? I miss you. We'll hang out soon. So, when we're talking about soloing, I think I'm gonna just talk about there are a lot of different there's just a lot of different ways to solo. I guess I don't really have any good way to preface this. I'm just gonna say this is the way that I solo. If it's not the way that you solo, I'm sorry. I don't know you, and I don't know your technique, and I don't know who you learned guitar from, or whatever instrument you learned how to solo on, etc. So please don't downvote if this is not how you solo. If this is not how you solo, and you want to let me know that, leave a comment below, and we'll have a nice discussion. Alright, so I'm going to be giving examples on the guitar, but the type of solo that I do could apply to any instrument. It's always a good idea to have in mind what key the song is in. I'm not going to go into too much detail about how to figure out what key you're in, or into too much music theory, because I could go into that for hours. Can't solo the way that I do without understanding what key you're in. For the purposes of this example, we're going to use the key of E. E major, E minor, doesn't really matter in this case. Naturally, you want to start your solo on the note E. There we are. I like to play a blues scale, which is this. When I play a solo, I am not going to land on the root, nor am I going to usually land on one of the notes in the major or minor triad of the key that I'm playing in. Again, I'm not going to get too in-depth into theory here, but the triad, or the main triad, or major chord, or the root triad, the tonic triad as some people would call it, is the first, third, and fifth notes on the scale of the key that you're in. If this was E minor, that would be E, G, B. If this was E major, that would be E, G sharp, B. Do you need to know that in order to pull off a solo? No. Do you need to have a good concept of pitch and where you are on the scale to play a solo? Yes. So again, if we're in E, a good solo for just the chord E might be something like that. Just a quick pull off, something, just a quick passage, something you can throw in on top of a scale, or on top of a particular section of a song. But if you're playing, like, for instance, let's say we're playing just a normal 12-bar blues, okay? blues, right? If we were playing a normal 12-bar blues, you'd want to throw some solos in during the changes, maybe, you know, quickly, short little ornaments before the different chord changes happen, like so. Those all stayed within the blues scale, right? We had so all of those would be considered scalar passages, meaning the notes of each of the solos touched. If I were to put them on a staff, you'd have bink, 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 bink. They'd all be touching each other. Now, what about solos where you skip around a little bit? Now, that's a little bit more difficult. So if we had, again, our blues, a solo that might skip around would be something that jumps octaves. So you'd have, how did I get from here to here? Easy. It's the same scale, an octave higher. Think of the octave, the place at which things repeat, higher or lower, but for some reason sounds the same. Now again, I'm being really rudimentary here in terms of theory. I could get in later videos maybe, if there's interest, into why the octave works like it does. But for the purposes of right now, this note, those are the same notes, an octave apart. They sound the same, don't they? And those all sound the same, but they're not the same note. It's the same note name, E. And it's really difficult to boil soloing down to just one video, because it's not just one day I woke up and said, you know what, I'm going to play a solo and I'm going to use this one scale. Years and years and years and years and years and years and years. I've been playing solos, or trying to play solos. I still don't solo very well. I've been trying to play solos since I was 12? 15 years. 15 years of just practicing solos, not the guitar, just solos alone, went into where I am now, and I'm still not that good. There's guys like Dave Pippin who play solos that just blow my mind, and they do it like they're not even trying. And that gets into my old video about conscious versus unconscious competence, and the amount of practice and effort that goes into what you see on stage. What you see on stage is just a glimpse into the amount of practice time, right, that often goes into a performance. I mean, shoot, I practice every day, and I play multiple instruments, so I have to practice multiple instruments every day, and I'm still not even close to as good as some guys are. Where were we? Right, solos. Right, solos. So we've got the blues scale. Not bad, right? Not too difficult. That one's my favorite. It fits nicely under my fingers. I have giant hands, so you know, blues scales are nice for me. Easy to grab. Another common scale that's used when playing solos is the major scale. Wrong note. Sounded cool though. That's the major scale, so. And stuff like that is just messing around. I have an idea in my head of it. You know, just something like that. I will say this. Oftentimes when I make a mistake during a solo, I just play it 3 more times. Because all it takes is 4 or 5 times of playing the same mistake, and it's not a mistake anymore. This is a hard video to do. I didn't expect this subject to be so difficult. How to solo. And at a certain point it does come down to feeling. For instance, the song Billie Jean by Michael Jackson. I have a video about that if you'd like to go see it. You got the main part of the song, which is, she told me her name was Billie Jean and she caused a scene. So take the words out. That phrase is it's an arc. So you've got up, plateau, and then down. In terms of pitch content, also in terms of energy. So if you were soloing on top of Billie Jean, you should be getting the feeling that your solo needs to go up, stay put, and then go back down to mimic the verse. A great soloist, you know, like a great soloist, like someone who's beyond where I am for sure. Like you know, Louis Armstrong. If you listen to an old Louis Armstrong track, he's going to imitate the melody of the song that he's playing. And the reason he's doing that is because the audience is already clued in to the melody. They've already got that in their heads. So if you start to mess around with that during your solo, you've already got the audience on your side. And then you can start to play a joke on it, you know? So if you have, I don't know if this is the right key, but you know, for right now we'll just use it. You know, you can keep throwing stuff in it, but if you come back to, let's review. Know the key you're in. If you make a mistake, play it again. Practice. Use the melody from the song that you're playing and feel it. Make sure you feel the motion of the song. Make sure you feel the contour of the phrase. Make sure you really understand the particular song that you're playing. And that kind of brings me to my final point, which is if you don't know the song backwards and forwards, you can't play a solo on top of it. I feel that it's only fitting, since this video is about solos, for me to put the clip and the video and the song next as a completely unedited solo. So this is my first try today at a blues solo. Here you go. 12-bar blues, E major.
Bye.